Now that we've gotten your attention, this isn't just a way some shepherds in Morocco call to each other. It's a type of language that dates back centuries, and it's in danger of disappearing altogether, like a whirling wind through the country's high Atlas Mountains. A 59-year-old man there says the whistle language is learned like walking or talking. In this remote part of Morocco, it's reportedly a 2-hour drive from the closest city. Shepherds don't need to worry about 5G signal strength. Their sharp whistles can be heard from 2 miles away, according to researchers. This helps people keep in touch with each other while herding livestock. But though the area is picturesque, it's isolated. None of the 50 or so homes here has running water or electricity, and as many families move away due to the lure of the cities or because of a 7-year drought that's hit Morocco, the number of people using the whistle language is dwindling. Still, some are committed to holding on to their land and traditions, and they're teaching the next generation how to communicate like this, an effort to protect and preserve the language so that even if young people leave, they'll carry it with them. Staying on the eastern side of the Atlantic, our next story takes us to the United Kingdom. This is The World from A to Z, and I'm Carl Azuz. Welcome to the show. Debate is raging in Britain over a government plan to introduce digital identification cards. What are they? What's this about? Well, it's not exactly a card. It's a form of ID that would be stored on a smartphone app. It would contain someone's name, birthday, where they live, where they're from, and a photo. And according to British Prime Minister Keir Starmer, who announced digital IDs last week, people won't be able to work in the UK without them, period. Students, retirees, and others not in the workforce wouldn't need one, and the government says Britons wouldn't have to carry it everywhere, only when they need to prove their right to work. This is something being watched around the world because several other countries have implemented or considered a digital ID. Why do this now in Britain? Its government says it'll help address illegal immigration. Lawmakers there say seeking a job is one main reason why people enter the country without permission. The electronic system would be intended to discourage that since they couldn't prove their right to work. Some opponents of the idea argue it could harm unauthorized migrants by pushing them, quote, further into the shadows. Others say the proposal's expensive, that it would give Britain's government too much control over its people, and that their sensitive info could be hacked. There's an online petition asking British officials not to introduce digital IDs. It had gathered more than 2.5 million signatures by the time we produced this show. That automatically triggers debate in Britain's parliament. Still, a poll conducted this summer by French research company Ipsos found that 57% of Britons do support some sort of national identity card. The government says the new requirement would be in place by 2029.
Word of knowledge. Which of these words came from a Latin term that means walking in front of? Herald, preamble, forebear, harbinger. If you knew that the term amble means to stroll, you might have correctly answered preamble.
Known as the Preamble, the first 52 words of the Constitution outline the 6 goals of the document. To learn all about those 6 goals, check out periodicpresidents.com.
On this date in world history.
The Magic Flute by Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart was publicly performed for the first time on September 30th. The year was 1791, the venue was in Austria, the opera was on its way to becoming another great success for the composer, but his health was failing around this time, and he'd pass away in early December of the same year. One of the great feats of American engineering was dedicated on this date in 1935. President Franklin D. Roosevelt spoke at the site of the Hoover Dam, America's most expensive water project at the time. It's been celebrated not only for its achievement, but for its artistic design. And on September 30th, 1947, a World Series was broadcast on live TV for the first time. It was also the first series to include an African-American player, Jackie Robinson. The New York Yankees defeated the Brooklyn Dodgers and would go on to win the series.
Where in the world? This place consists of more than 200 islands. It was once a part of Britain and is located in Eastern Asia. Today, it's a special administrative region of China. This is Hong Kong, a completely urban area with more than 7 million people.
A little less than 4% of Hong Kong's land is agricultural, but poachers still cut down trees in the region illegally as they search for a valuable spice used in incense. Here's how science is being utilized to prevent that.
Researchers in Hong Kong are helping crack down on crime, using genetics to stop illegal logging. Hong Kong translates as Fragrant Harbor, a nod to the region's history of spice production. But the industry has been hard hit by competition on the black market and a rise in spice poaching. Usually, you hear about animal poachers hunting big game for high payouts. But in Hong Kong, agarwood is the main target. It's used in some costly products: Eastern medicines, incense, perfumes. By felling in remote areas or working at odd hours, poachers often avoid detection.
I think at one night, over 20 trees have been cut down by poachers.
And once the trees are out of the forest, proving they were stolen is nearly impossible. Unless you have a genetic database full of different tree DNA samples. That's exactly what the team at Kadori Farm and Botanic Garden created. They collect samples from trees and catalog genetic makeup, location, and ownership status. With their catalog, authorities can now cross-reference DNA from seized agarwood trees to others entered in the database, and from there, determine whether they were taken from private or protected lands. Hong Kong authorities say illegal tree felling was 12 times worse in 2023 than the year prior. Despite near-perfect growing conditions in Hong Kong, agarwood is listed as a vulnerable species. The team's main goal is to catch illegal loggers. And they're not alone. The government and conservationists are stepping up to help Hong Kong's agarwood industry with replanting initiatives and regular patrols in protected areas.
A logo windbreaker, a Fridays are awesome sling bag with everybody's favorite hairline. These are ways to show you've got spirit, yeah, for the world from A to Z. Check out our new merch store at worldatozorg/store or just scroll down on our website and click Shop Our Merch Store. It means the world to have you wearing the world from A to Z. We're following the sun across the country, starting in the east with Mr. Sharp's class. The Hawks are soaring over Bridgeton, New Jersey, home of Hopewell Crest School. Stillwell, Oklahoma is next. That's where we heard from the Indians of Stillwell High School, hello to Mrs. Buzzard's class. And when we said we'd follow the sun, we did to Sunnyside High School. Miss Fleck's class is in the home of the Grizzlies in Sunnyside, Washington.
A daredevil climber became the first to summit and ski down the world's tallest mountain without the use of supplemental oxygen. More than 6,000 people have climbed to the top of Mount Everest, and some 200 have done it without the aid of bottled oxygen. But according to Red Bull, Polish climber Andrzej Bargiel became the first to do just that and also ski back down the gargantuan mountain. Bargiel spent nearly 16 hours climbing in the mountain's so-called death zone, the area above 26,000 feet, where the air is extremely thin, and then somehow managed enough stamina to descend dizzying slopes and treacherous ice falls before returning to his team waiting at base camp. There were celebrations at the bottom and from the top as the Polish Prime Minister took to social media to laud his fellow countrymen's death-defying accomplishment.
Usually horses played on a basketball court, but this little pony decided to play on an Oklahoma City golf course last week. And while officials there say they sometimes see coyotes trotting around, livestock isn't often in stock in the pro shop. Police and workers chased him around for about an hour, but the suspect escaped. He was eventually returned to his home, though, and identified as Stubby. He would have been a horse shoe-in at the polo club, but no one wants to run into a golf club, and we're glad he had the foresight to hoof it out of bounds before getting wedged into a hazard. Putting a hole in one of the fairways will get you drivered out of any country club by its naysayers, even if thinking the grass is greener is par for the horse, of course. I'm Carl Azuz for the world from A to Z. We'll trot right back with more news and puns tomorrow. How about them apples?